Welcome to Biggest Spoilars, the destination for exclusive spoilers, latest updates.
General Hospital spoilers and updates for Monday, January 26th. Tease Jason Morgan worries, and Jocelyn Jacks turns to an unanticipated source for help. Plus, Sonny Corinthos distracts Ava Jerome. Jason worries after what happened at Bobby's and Friday's occasion. Jason's upset enough about Britt Westbourne to hunt her down at GH. Britt is frustrated as she switches out at Jason, telling him if he ever watched about her at each, also leave her alone. Of course, Jason has no idea that the minatory European head of the WSB, Ross Cullum, hovered to get relief of him if Britt didn't. Jason is suspicious enough to know that there's commodity wrong behind Britt's crazy jest. And it's commodity veritably serious. Will Britt be suitable to move Jason? It's stylish they do and continue in indeed a fellowship? Curtis is relieved away. Curtis Ashford is on a regale date with Jordan Ashford and he's relieved about commodity. He tells her as it turns out, there's no need to bother, obviously pertaining to commodity they'd bandied preliminarily. Jordan will also broker and preface in Monday's occasion, but will it be commodity Curtis is involved in or some other situation? Considering Jordan is working for Jen Sidwell, this preface could be commodity she has to do for work. Jocelyn turns to an doubtful source for help. In the meantime, Joss turns to an doubtful source for help, but for now, she's talking to WSB Field Office Director Jack Brennan. Brennan, who just killed Jocelyn and told her to stay down from Windermere Castle, doesn't look happy. She's frustrated as she wants to know if he wants to hear what she said about or not. She probably wants to tell him about commodity, suspicious about the vault where Marco Rios advised her and Lucas Jones down from. As far as who the doubtful source may be, might it be Nina Reeves or Lisa Labrecht, who also lived there? Marco demands action. In the meantime, Marco is at Windermere and he's demanding action. He tells someone he wants Sonny Corinthos taken out of the equation for good. Marco still blames Sonny for the death of his mama, Natalia Rogers Ramirez, who was close with Sonny at the time. Who might Marco be talking to? Has Pascal returned from France, or was he indeed there to begin with? Or might he be talking to Cullum, who's obviously Sidwell's master indeed, though he's said to be his mate? Sonny distracts Ava away. Sonny distracts Ava. As a matter of fact, he suggests commodity distracting. He asks, can you get any bigger distraction than that? What exactly might Sonny have in mind to distract Ava with, and more importantly, why? Does her supposed semi-romantic relationship with Sidwell have anything to do with wanting to distract her? Conceivably, he's just talking about a fun distraction where they can go with Avery Corinthos Jerome together as co-parents. Or, might he be trying to get Ava to distract Sidwell long enough for him to make some advance in bringing Sidwell down? Carly addresses to Sidwell. In the meantime, Carly Spencer seems to have an unusual regale made as she sits with Sidwell. Maybe that's the preface that Jordan was involved in before and the two feel to be deep in discussion. She tells Sidwell bingo. During their discussion, might this be commodity to do with bringing Jack down, which she and Valentine Cassadine are uniting on? So, is this meeting commodity Jordan set up, or conceivably Valentine suggested, or is it commodity differently entirely? Sidwell had wanted to bring the Cassadine into his and Cullum's association, but he has no idea that he and Carly are working together. Port Charles was simmering with tension, and the drama never seemed to rest, especially for those caught in the ever-shifting currents of manipulation, loyalty, and dangerous secrets. For Jason Morgan, the past few days had left him on edge. The events at Bobby's on Friday weighed heavily on his mind. Britt Westbourne's sudden outburst, her sharp words, and her insistence that he leave her alone, all of it replayed in his head like a warning he couldn't ignore. He knew something was off. Britt wasn't just angry, she was desperate, perhaps even terrified, and the subtle undercurrent of danger was clear to Jason, even if he didn't yet understand the full scope. Britt's frustration had been boiling over for days. Her harsh words, though pointed at Jason, were masking a larger problem. She had been forced into impossible positions by Ross Cullum, the formidable European head of the WSB, who had made it clear that Britt's safety, and perhaps Jason's, depended on her compliance. Jason, sensing that Britt's behavior was more than just personal vendetta or residual bitterness, couldn't shake the suspicion that something serious, even sinister, was at play. He needed answers, and so he tracked her down at General Hospital, determined to see whether Britt could convince him that stepping away, even from friendship, was truly what she wanted, or if her words were another cover for hidden dangers. Meanwhile, on a different front, Curtis Ashford found a rare moment of relief in his otherwise hectic life. Sharing dinner with Jordan Ashford, he felt a small weight lift from his shoulders. The conversation hinted at resolutions and decisions that had been hanging in the air, though the details remained unclear. Jordan, always the meticulous planner, would also be brokering an introduction in Monday's episode. Whether Curtis would be involved in this new connection, or whether it was tied to Jordan's work with Jen Sidwell, remained uncertain. Still, the interaction hinted at a subtle shift, a chance for Curtis to catch a breath, even briefly, in the relentless storm of Port Charles intrigue. Jocelyn Jacks, on the other hand, was far from calm. The young woman, recently deactivated as a WSB agent, found herself in a precarious position. The catacombs at Windmere had sparked suspicions, with warnings from Marco Rios and Lucas Jones about potential dangers that lurked below. Determined to act, Joss turned to an unlikely source for guidance, WSB Field Office Director Jack Brennan. Though she had been instructed to stay away from Windmere and keep a low profile, her frustration bubbled over. She pressed Brennan for answers, eager to relay what she had uncovered about the mysterious activity in the catacombs. In her mind, the risks of inaction outweighed the danger of exposure. Whether Brennan would listen, or whether another unexpected ally, such as Nina Reeves or Liesl Albrecht, might provide insight, remained a question that gnawed at her. Meanwhile, Marco Rios was in the thick of his own battle. At Windmere, he demanded action, his eyes burning with anger and grief. The death of his mother, Natalia Rogers Ramirez, had left a mark he could not forget, and he held Sonny Corinthos personally accountable. Marco's words carried a deadly weight as he insisted that Sonny be removed from the equation once and for all. Who he was addressing remained unclear, whether it was Pascal, back from France, or Ross Cullum, the powerful WSB director whose influence loomed large. Marco's determination was unmistakable. The vendetta driving him was personal, emotional, and, if left unchecked, dangerously explosive. Amid the tension, Sonny Corinthos had his own strategic play. Known for his ability to turn situations to his favor, Sonny sought to distract Ava Jerome. His words were teasing, yet calculated. Can you get any bigger distraction than that? The question, seemingly casual, carried undertones of intent. Was he orchestrating a diversion to give himself and his allies an advantage? Perhaps he was guiding Ava's attention towards something lighter, maybe a family outing with Avery Corinthos Jerome. Or perhaps the distraction was far more tactical, designed to keep her occupied while he maneuvered to gain leverage over Sidwell. In Port Charles, distractions were seldom innocent, and Sonny was nothing if not methodical in his planning. Carly Spencer, too, found herself navigating an intricate web of alliances and secrets. Sitting across from Sidwell at dinner, she engaged in a conversation laced with tension and subtle strategy. Her declaration of bingo suggested that her insight had uncovered something significant, perhaps a way to undermine Jack Brennan or shift the balance of power in their ongoing struggle. Whether Jordan Ashford had facilitated this meeting, or whether Valentine Cassadine had planted the idea, Carly's actions demonstrated the delicate interplay of manipulation and loyalty that defined the city's elite players. Sidwell, unaware of Carly's hidden agenda, remained a pawn in a much larger game, illustrating the constant push and pull of trust and deceit that dominated Port Charles. Throughout the day, the city's pulse remained quickened by whispers, secret alliances, and the silent threats that underpinned every interaction. Jason's determination to understand Britt's actions collided with the dangerous directives imposed by Ross Cullum, while Joss's persistence in investigating Windmere threatened to uncover truths that many would prefer remain hidden. Marco's simmering vengeance, Sonny's strategic distractions, and Carly's careful maneuvering all intertwined in a complex dance of power, ambition, and hidden agendas. Amid these swirling currents, moments of clarity and connection remained rare but meaningful. Curtis found solace in Jordan's company, even as the larger threats loomed. Jason's vigilance reflected a steadfast dedication to those he cared about, a protective instinct sharpened by danger. And even Britt, caught between fear and defiance, revealed glimpses of vulnerability beneath her fierce exterior. For the residents of Port Charles, the day was a reminder that in a world of shadows, deception, and high stakes, courage, foresight, and unwavering determination were the only shields against the threats lurking around every corner. Every word spoken, every glance exchanged, carried weight. Every decision, from Willow's manipulations to Sonny's distractions, had repercussions that rippled outward, touching lives in ways both immediate and unforeseen. As the sun set on Monday, the city held its collective breath. The stories of love, loyalty, revenge, and manipulation were far from over. Jason, Britt, Joss, Marco, Sonny, Carly, and all the others would face choices that demanded courage and cunning. Encouraging words offered comfort, but angry threats reminded them of the stakes. The drama of Port Charles, relentless and unpredictable, promised that no character would remain untouched, and no secret would remain buried forever. The day ended not with resolution, but with anticipation, the sense that the next move, who would act, who would falter, who would manipulate, was always just around the corner. In Port Charles, the game never stopped, the threats never ceased, and the ties of family, love, and power were tested at every turn. Every interaction, every decision, carried the weight of consequence, reminding viewers that in the world of General Hospital, even the smallest moment could ignite a cascade of life-altering events.